everyone, how's it going? I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. Welcome to the Set 2 Union Force Yellow Card Analysis video. Might need to work on a little shorter title for that. Anyway, so guys, again, this week I split this video series up into two videos. This video will cover the battle cards, and then the previous video will cover the leader cards and the extra cards. Again, because we only had like 3 extra cards this week, I just stuffed those two videos together. Again, I don't want to flood you guys with videos, but I do want to make them a little bit easier to watch, and the multi-video format seemed to go over very well for the majority of people. But let me know if you don't like this multi-video format. Let me know, and maybe next week I'll just do one video. You know, whatever works best for you guys. That's my goal, is to make sure I'm making content that you guys like to watch. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna jump into this. This is a battle card video, so unfortunately it's gonna be long. However, I don't think we have as many cards as normal, so because of that, you know, we're gonna shorten this video. This video won't be as long as normal. Okay, so let's jump right in, guys. So the first card is Heartless Strike Frieza. Now, Heartless Strike Frieza is an 8-cost, 2 yellow, 30,000 double strike attacker that has auto. When you play this card, if King Cold is in play in your battle area, choose up to 2 Frieza clan other than Frieza from your hand and play them. Their skills are negated for the duration of the game. Now, this effect is pretty powerful. It's one of those effects. Essentially, it's you play this card out, and you're going to get 2 more cards out, possibly out of your hand. Now, my problem with this card is that you just have way too many holes to jump through. You have to have, a King Cold in play. You have to have 8 energy to actually play this card, and then you have to have 2 more Frieza clan in your hand that aren't Frieza to play out. Now, again, this is all so hard to kind of get, to accomplish. This isn't an easy thing to do. And to make matters worse, too, the things that you play out don't even get their abilities. They don't even get their effects when they play them out. And often, in this game, you don't really want to be playing things in your deck that don't have, enter the battle effect autos, because those are so powerful. So you want some kind of value out of almost every card you play. And so for all these reasons, it just feels like this card is extremely hard to play. Now, to make, I don't want to talk too much about cards coming up, but there is a King Cold that we'll see here in a second that costs 4 and reduces the cost of all Frieza army cards that cost, I think it's 5 or more by 2. And so this card essentially would cost 6 then. And just having that King Cold out kind of, satisfies the condition of you need a King Cold in play. And so essentially this will be a 6-cost battle card that you get 2 cards out of your hand as well that you play. So that's a little bit more, that's a little better, that's a little bit more powerful. But again, it's just a 30-cost double striker, and you get 2 cards. Again, good, just not good enough for me. Honestly, I would just rather play Broly. I would just rather play him out, discard 2 cards out of your hand. It's the same, kind of swap. Essentially, I play 1 card, I get 2 cards out of your hand, which is the same as me playing 2 cards for free. I still get a 30,000 double striker, but I don't have to do anything except just pay 6 energy and play this guy out. And so, because of that, I think that Frieza, and I'm going to give him a 1 star. I don't think this card is quite good enough, but don't let the 8 energy fool you. There is ways to make this cheaper. There is ways to maybe make this card pretty decent, but I just think it's just going to be too hard to kind of jump through those hoops and make it playable currently in its current form. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about Destructive Occupation Frieza. And so this is a 3-cost, 2 yellow, 15,000 attacker that has auto at the end of the battle. After you combo with this card from your hand, if your leader card is yellow, play this card in rest mode. And so this is yellow's combo cycle. And so all the other colors has had one. It's been Tien was in green. I think Gohan is in blue, and now we have Frieza for yellow. And essentially, if you combo with this card, you can just, at the end of that battle, you can just play this in as rest mode, for free. So that's really powerful. Good effect. I'll say the same thing I did for all the other cards. This is a very cool cycle. This is something that's kind of needed to make those 10,000 combo, cards a little bit better, a little bit more efficient. I love it. I think it's a fantastic card. It's also Frieza. It's Frieza Clan in Frieza Army, so it has some cool synergies with the Frieza, Golden Frieza leader, where you can play this out with 1, play them out, and then sacrifice them to ready your mana, and then draw a card off of it. So there's really cool effects with that. And also the Emperor Frieza, just playing this card out in rest mode, and at the end of your turn, readying it is also a very powerful ability. So it's going to fit really well with those Frieza Army decks that we currently have. And I really, really like this card. And for all those reasons, I'm going to give this 3 stars and think it's a fantastic card. Next up is Overpowering King Cold. The Overpowering King Cold is a 4-cost, 4 yellow, 20,000 attacker that has permanent reduce the energy cost of all Frieza clan whose original energy cost was 5 or more by 2. And so again, very powerful effect. This is a King Cold card. Unfortunately, it's not a Frieza army card, it's only a Frieza clan card, but that's like on par. Like there is no King Cold. There are also Frieza army, so that's nothing to be surprised. It just makes it a little bit less versatile in yellow. Now the upside of this card is that it reduces cards by 2, and that there is so many cards that this works with. And actually in the description below, I'll have a little Google Doc sheet that will list all the cards this will reduce this by for you guys. That way you guys can kind of see all the ones that reduces by and kind of start brewing as well. And so again, there's something else to remember about this ability that I kind of want to draw attention to, and that is it says reduce the energy cost of all Frieza clan whose original energy cost was 5 or more by 2. It doesn't say they have to be yellow. And so that might be important once we see more Frieza clan cards in other colors. Now, I believe the blue spoiler we saw of Frieza, I think that card is still a Frieza's clan, but it's a blue card. And so because of that, again, I'm not 100%, but I will pop that card up here somewhere so you guys can take a look at it. And that card hasn't really been officially spoiled yet. Like we haven't seen it like an actual spoiler, so that card I guess maybe could change a little bit. But for right now it is, I'm pretty sure, like a 6-cost blue card that has Frieza clan. So because of that, keep in mind this effect is extremely strong. It's not color limited, but he does cost 4 yellow to play, and so for that reason, you're probably not going to be splashing this card into very many other colors, but it's, again, something just to remember, just to keep in mind. This isn't color specific. It's only limited by the Frieza clan tag. And so for all those reasons, guys, I love this card. I think this card's fantastic, and I'm going to give it 3 stars. Awesome card, fantastic. Just love this card so much. Next up is Awakening Core Meta Cooler. 5 cost, 2 yellow, 20,000 attacker. It has Evolve 2 and 2 yellow 2. It says play this card on top of a Meta Cooler, so it can evolve in a Meta Cooler. Permanent, if your opponent's life is 4 or less, your Meta Cooler leader card can activate Awaken. Permanent, all Meta Cooler in your battle area gain double strike, which is awesome. And so this card is, fantastic. I love this card so much. Again, this is a great piece for Meta Cooler. It works fantastic well with his leader. It buffs all of his little 2-drop Meta Coolers that we'll get to in just a second. It buffs all those guys. That's awesome. It has a great evolve target. It can evolve off Meta Coolers for so it can still only cost 4. And this card is perfectly on par for 4. It's a 4-cost 20,000 double striker. That's kind of like the curve, right? If we're playing a 4-drop, we really want him to have at least 20,000 power, double strike, and then usually some other powerful effect. This card does that. It also awakens your leader if your opponent's awakened, so it allows Meta Cooler to be very aggressive and put pressure on his opponent, to awaken. And then once he does, they can play this card and awaken themselves. Just a straight, it's an awesome card all around. It literally has so many different angles and so many different things it can do. Again, fantastic card, and easily give this card a 3-star. Fantastic, especially in Meta Cooler decks, guys. This is going to be good. But again, even outside of Meta Cooler decks, without playing that leader, if you're trying to play anything that has that Meta Cooler kind of the card synergy, like the playing off the drop area, playing off the graveyard or whatever, this card is going to buff those cards, and so it's still very playable in those decks as well. So just remember that guys, this card's fantastic, and going to be an auto include in any Meta Cooler deck. Okay, up next is, we were just talking about this dude, Infinite Multiplication Meta Cooler. Now this is a 2-cost, 2 yellow, 15,000 attacker, so it has the vanilla attacker stats, but it does have a very powerful permanent that says you can include as many copies of this card in your deck as you like. Now this is a super awesome effect. This is something that I love as somebody who loves to build interesting decks and unique decks. I love any card that lets me do something like this. I would love. I've talked about this on Facebook a little bit, but I'm almost surely going to build a deck that's just all Meta Coolers. That's it, just to see if I can win with it, just to see how it plays out. I mean, again, I don't expect it to be extremely good, but I do think it's really fun that we can do that. We can build a deck with 50 of the same card. It's so neat, and it also opens up tons of possibilities too. There's possible ways to maybe abuse this card with the Meta Cooler leader and with the Big Sargete, things like that. There's ways to abuse this permanent, and it's very strong. It's a lot better than it may appear. I know people will see this and be like, it's you can add as many as you want. That's not a big deal, but trust me, it is. And there's also ways to already buff this card as well. We just talked about the card above that again gives this card I think it gives a double strike, right? It says all Meta Cooler in a battle area game. Yeah. So this essentially, if you play the Cooler that awakens, they get double strike. And so there's just so many ways to make this card stronger and stronger. And I just love this card so much. Awesome flavor, awesome permanent ability. I like to see more cards like this happen. And again, I'm just interested to kind of brew with this card. Very excited. And for, again, all these reasons, I'm going to give this card, again, another 3 stars. I think this is like the 4th or 5th card we've gave 3 stars. I'll tell you, I've heard a lot of people talk about these cards not being very good, but I'm telling you guys, these cards are deceptively good. They are very, very fantastic. Next up, we have Metacooler Core. It's a 1 cost, 1 yellow, 1000 attacker that says Union Absorb, 2 yellow and 3. Place 1 Big Gete Star in your battle area under this card. Choose up to 1 Metacooler Core from your Metacooler Core from your deck and place it on top of this card. Shuffle your deck afterwards. And so right now, this is the only Metacooler Core card we've seen. And so, you know, obviously in its current state, it doesn't do anything. It just you pay 5 energy and you go search another one and put, you know, on top of this, which does nothing. And so, but obviously I think this is going to be kind of a set, you know, where you play one out and then you go get the other one and you have to do something to put that. And if you have all the, you know, the cores under it or whatever, it'll probably do some big effect. Again, this is all assumption. I don't know that for sure, but clearly this is not where the card ends, right? This is unfortunately the only Metacooler Core we've seen in the spoilers, which makes me think that the other one's going to be like a secret rare. I'm sorry, a super rare. But again, you know, in its current state, there's really not much to talk about except do not take this card as face value. I promise there'll be some other effect or something that happens, because if not, this card is just dead, just does nothing. And so because of that, we're going to give this card 1 star. But again, this is almost assuredly going to get better once we see this the super rares. Next up is Secret Evolution Cooler. 3 cost, 2 yellow, 15,000 attacker. It says permanent if there are 3 or more Cooler Armored Squadron in your drop area. All Cooler in your hand gain 3 yellow Evolve Cooler. This is a very powerful card. This is something that, you know, it requires a lot to get through, though. We have to have 3 Cooler's Armored Squadron in play. Unfortunately, like our Meta Cooler, the Infinite Multiplication card or whatever, isn't an Armored Squad or whatever, so it doesn't get, you know, it's going to be a little tough to get 3 of anything on the field. I mean, if the Guinea Force is a good example of that, right? Like, it's pretty hard to get, you know, 2 Guinea Force in play, but just because of the way the game works, right? It's when you attack, your opponent oftentimes attacks back, kills your threats, and so it's very tough. But again, if you manage to jump through those hoops, if you manage to get 3 of those out, the effect to make all your coolers evolve on 3 is very strong. You know, we haven't seen any ginormous coolers yet, or any like super strong high drop coolers, but I'm sure those are going to be in the super rares or maybe even in the promos. And so because of that, you know, this is a powerful effect, but again, it's very hard to jump through, and I can't think of any like huge threats currently, huge targets for this ability. And so because of that, we're going to give this a 2 star, because I do think it is a powerful effect, and we're almost assuredly going to see stronger cards in the future. But you know, right now it's not the greatest. Next up is Chilled Army General. Chilled Army General is a 5 cost, 2 yellow, 25,000 attacker that has permanent. All of your Chilled's Army tokens can combo even in rest mode. They gain combo cost 0 and 5,000 combo power. Active main, switch 1 of your Chilled Army tokens to rest. This card gains triple strike for the duration of the turn. This is awesome. This is, you know, I'm going to say now, by far my favorite card spoiled in yellow. Chilled is, if you haven't caught my leader analysis video, Chilled is an awesome leader. You know, essentially every time he attacks, he puts out a token that has 10,000 power. And so what this card allows you to do is allow those tokens to combo. So they can combo for 0 for 5,000, and they can do so even if they're rested, which is extremely powerful, especially, you know, just in conjunction with this card. And you can use them and rest all your guys's, all your opponent's battle cards, and then just combo out with all of his cards, and then, you know, deal tons of damage with triple strike, which is extremely powerful. This card is strong, you know, in those types of deck, and, you know, honestly, just a 5,000, just a 5 cost 25,000 attacker isn't too far off of par what we expect for 5 anyway. It's right there with Super Saiyan Gotenks, and now it does have to, you know, have the army tokens to get triple strike, but, you know, again, very strong card all around, very powerful effect, going to be a staple in any of the chill decks, and I'm just so excited to play with this card. So it'll be again in the I'll give it 3 stars. Okay, next up is Pivotal Defense Cyclopean Guard. I don't know, like, I don't know how to say that word. I'm pretty sure that's a fake word. And so we have 2 energy, 1 yellow, 20,000 power, blocker that says if Big Gete Star is not in your battle area, this card cannot attack. Oh shoot, that stinks. But again, this that permanent seems like a downside, and again, it kind of is. But honestly, a 20,000 power blocker on turn 2 is absurd. It is nuts. And this card is just going to be, I mean, the thing I love about this card is it's the perfect kind of example of how you can take a card and make it really specific for a certain deck, but still good in other decks, right? And so, if you play this with Metacooler, and because he gets the big Getty Star at the start of the game. And this is a powerful 2-drop attacker. It's also very versatile. You can use it to attack and use it to defend. It's a fantastic card. But it's also really good just in like a Beerus deck, right? If a Beerus deck wants to go late game and try to get the 12-drop Weezes out, this is also a great defender for them. A 2-cost 20,000 deck that shuts down Vegeta decks. It shuts down any deck trying to go aggressive. It shuts down Champa decks that are trying to use like Kabas and stuff to attack through. I mean, it shuts down so much and really lets those decks kind of live until the late game, which is powerful. It's a very powerful ability. So it's a fantastic card splashed. It's an absurd card in the Metacooler decks. Again, the Metacooler decks can attack with this card to take your life down very quickly and then just evolve. So it's very good. Something else to remember about this is it is a robot. It does have the special trait of robot, which currently means nothing. There's nothing that kind of buffs robots or anything. But something to remember is that this doesn't, it won't work with any other special traits, right? Like it's not like a Frieza's army or anything like that. So just something to kind of point out. But again, this card's fantastic. Absurd card. 2-drop 20,000 attacker is a huge power spike for blockers, and it's very exciting for any kind of control deck that wants to be defensive. And so for that reason, I'm going to give this card a 3-star. Very excited about this card, and I think this is going to be a staple in any deck that's trying to go into the late game. Next up is Guide Robo, Usher of Death. He's a 2-cost, 2-yellow, 5,000 power attacker that says blocker. Permanent, if Big Getty Star is in your battle area, you may play this card from your hand without paying its entry cost. Again, this is actually kind of a disappointing cycle for me. This is essentially, it's been every caller. There's been a blocker that costs 2, has 5,000 power, and if some conditions met, usually it's if you have a leader, a certain leader or something, then you get to play this card out for free. I just don't think it's good enough, guys. I'm sorry. Blocker cards are already pretty inefficient. And so what happens is, like, you play a blocker out, your opponent attacks, you block with it, your guy dies, their guy almost always lives, especially with 5,000 power. There's almost no way you're going to make this guy survive unless you use another card. And it just seems like you just run out of cards trying to do, insignificant things. And so, again, I don't like this cycle. I don't like these guys. I don't think that they're ever going to see play unless there's something I'm missing, or a card that maybe buffs blockers into a, an extraordinary amount or something where it's like, all your blockers get tons of power, like 10 plus 10,000 power. Then, of course, a free blocker is going to be huge, but currently there's just nothing that this guy's going to do. I just can't imagine it getting play over the 2-cost 20,000 blocker that's literally right above him, looking down at him like, hey, little nerd, like, you're not ever going to get played. I'm sorry. So I'm sorry, guys. Love it. I mean, I know a lot of people like that cycle, but I'm not on board with it. And so unfortunately, we're going to give this a 1-star, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. Next up is Cooler's Armored Squadron leader, Salza. Now, this is the first of the Cooler's Armored Squadron cards, and it's a 4-cost, 2-yellow, 15,000 attacker that has double strike. And active main, remove this card from the game, choose one Cooler's Armored Squadron other than Salza from your drop area and play it. It gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. And this is cool. This is kind of like the cool thing that the Metacooler deck is going to do. Again, they're either going to go with just the straight up Metacooler, or they're going to mix in some of these Armored Squadron guys. And so this one is a 4-cost double strike 15,000. Now, again, like we talked about with the 4-drop curve, it's a little bit off. It's like 5,000 power off, in my opinion, to kind of match up with those other cards. Now, the upside that this card gives you is that when you play it out, you can attack, do the double strike, and then you can get rid of it. So you can just remove it from the game and then take another Armored Squadron from your drop area, which your Metacooler should be feeding, and then just put it into play, and then it gets 5,000 power, and you can attack with it again. That's strong, and as we get through the other Armored Squadron guys, we'll talk a little bit about which ones that's even stronger on. But again, I don't think this is an ability that's going to be essentially more powerful than just playing a Mecha Frieza, or even just playing like maybe a Beerus or something. Now again, I think that this is going to be very good in the Armored Squadron decks, but outside of that, I can't really see it get any splashes or get any other effect. And so because of that, I'm going to give this a 2-star. Again, strong card, strong ability, just a little off curve for me, and again, not splashable. So next up is Cooler's Armored Squadron Dory, I don't know. 3-cost, 2-yellow, 10,000 power, blocker. Auto, when this card is KO'd, remove this card from the game. Choose up to one Cooler's Armored Squadron other than DOro. from your drop area and play it. I love how I've said this guy's name 3 times and said it differently each time. That's bad. That's it's not giving me very much confidence. Okay, and so this effect again, guys, is very powerful. But I like about this game, about this game. I do like this about this game, but also I like about this card is it's very balanced. And like what I mean by that is this effect is if he didn't essentially exile himself, if he didn't get removed from the game, you could do some really crazy stuff with him where you could like, essentially block an attack, he dies, he goes to the drop area, you're like, okay, I'll choose him again, bring him back out as another blocker. And then, so it's almost like an infinite blocker. And so again, that last tagline is there so he cannot be like an infinite blocker. But what I do love about this guy, and again, like we talked about with the little robot up top, was that a lot of the times what the blockers have, I guess, going against them is that they have, like, once they die, nothing happens. Once they're KO'd, you get no value out of them. But this guy does, right? Whenever DOro dies, you go get just like a better guy. You can get Salza up top, you can get something better and just, put him in play. So, it's fantastic. It works great with Metacooler. He's going to feed that drop area and then you're going to get value off of this card. And so, again, fantastic card. As far as the Cooler's Armored Squadron go, I think he's probably one of the best ones. Again, though, he's not very splashable, and because I am going to give him a 2-star, again, I think he's awesome. And I think in the Armored Squadron, deck, he's probably a 3-star. He's probably the best Armored Squadron dude, but I'm going to give him a 2-star just because he's not splashable, and we're probably only going to see him in those decks. Next up is Cooler's Armored Squadron Nez. Yeah, I'm terrible with these guys' name, by the way. These guys might as well, they need to start calling these guys like Bob and Sally so I can actually say their names. Okay, so he's a 3-cost, 2 yellow, 15,000 attacker. He has auto. When you play this card gains double strike. This card inflicts 2 damage instead of 1 for the duration of the turn. Again, this is a really good target with, let me get his name right. I know why I'm looking. I'm going to get messed up anyway. With Salza. Because essentially, Salza can attack, double strike, 15,000. Then he can exile himself, go get Nez, bring him in, and now he's a 20,000 double striker. And so it's almost like dual attack at that point. And so again, a good card, again, very strong. It's also a good target off DOro up top as well. If when he dies, you can get this guy out again, so you can have, a pretty strong attacker next turn. Again, remember though, if you do that, if you use DOro to get him, he won't have double strike when it comes around to your turn because, again, like you've played him on the turn, on your opponent's turn, essentially. And so again, fantastic card, really cool, works really well with that Armored Squadron ability. And again, I'm just gonna give him a 2-star. Again, works very well with that type of deck. Not gonna be that good splashable. So for those reasons, we're gonna give him the old 2-star. Next up is Toby, the Obedient Soldier. This is a 4-cost, 2 yellow, 15,000 attacker. Double strike, active main once per turn. Switch one of your chilled army tokens to rest. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. Now this is extremely powerful effect, and this is something that we see a lot with this token deck. We're starting to see these things where like they really take advantage of the token generation. Now, the other, actually now I'm thinking about it, I actually think I messed up with the Shield Army General. Actually, what he does, I'm so sorry guys, whenever you rest his tokens, he just gets triple strike. What this guy does is he's the one who rests them. I think I got those two mixed up. I'm sorry, so if you're seeing this now, I apologize. So yeah, I just looked up. Yeah, I 100% messed that up. So this is the rest guy, and so this is a very strong effect because essentially this pairs really well with the triple strike guy that we just talked about, right? You can play him out, you can rest one of your guys, give him triple strike, and then use this guy to essentially rest all of your guys as defensive, and then attack through. And this is very powerful effect. This really makes this token deck attack in different angles, which is really fun. Now, my only problem with both this card and the Harbinger, which I didn't really talk about too much, is that because Chill doesn't have Frieza's army, he can't use like the Bloodlust cards and stuff, and so these cards are going to be really hard to protect, and it really worries me about this deck. If you play out this card, the next turn your opponent can just play out like Beerus, or any of the cards when they come into play, they kill and really kind of punish you for playing this. But this is a great finisher. It's costed perfectly because it's at 4. You could wait and play it later in the game, right? You can wait and play it like turn 6. Play this out. Use your tokens that you've already accumulated to kind of rest out their field, attack through with your heavy hitters, and then if he dies, that's okay. You've already got that one big alpha strike in. And so I see this card more as like a game ender and not something that you're going to probably be playing on turn 4. And so again, fantastic classic card. Love it with that synergy with the token deck. Again, not very splashable, and for those reasons, I'm going to give this a 2-star. Love it, but you know, again, a little situational, and I can't wait to see how this works with the token deck. I'm telling you, I'm so excited about this deck. And then finally, the last card that we're going to talk about in the battle cards is Caberia, the Obedient Soldier. And so this is a 2-cost, 2 yellow, 10,000 attacker. He has blocker, active battle once per turn. Switch one of your chilled army tokens to rest. Choose up to one of your chilled army. It gains 5,000 power for the duration of the battle. This is a neat effect. This is something, again, that's going to make give that the token deck some more avenues to attack at. You know, you can again use this for your triple striker to make him really strong. You can use it on your actual leader as well, and give him 5,000. This is just such a neat little ability, and I'm really excited to see kind of you know, what happens here and how this whole deck evolves. This is also a blocker, which is important. You know, once you have the 5-cost out, you could swing a triple strike and then use this to protect him from attack backs. And then you can even use the tokens to keep this card alive, which is really neat. And so, again, I can see this being a very strong ability. Again, it is limited, though, however, by once per turn, which can make it, you know, a little kind of... You can't you can't have like 12 tokens out and just like all in on one of your guys. You're going to use it once. But it does say once per turn, so you can use this on your opponent's turn. So you can use it once on offense and then once on defense. So that's pretty good effect. Again, I can see this probably being somewhat of a staple in the token deck. And for that reason, guys, I'm going to give this a 2-star. Very cool card. I can see all kinds of stuff. Again, this token deck just gets better and better as these cards get spoiled. And I can't wait to see what super rares get spoiled, and so we can see how much powerful this token deck is going to be. All right, guys, so that's it for the battle card spoilers. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I tried to be a little bit quicker. I didn't, you know, not spend as much time on these videos. I know that you guys, you know, I hate that you guys have to sometimes watch like an hour video, but I apologize. But if you guys didn't agree with any of my ratings, if there's something you didn't like or something you think I missed, just put it down here and below. Let me know in the comments. I love reading your guys' comments. It means a lot. Like I said in my other video, guys, all the support just means so much to me. We are almost up to 300 subscribers in 2 weeks. That is insane, guys. Thank you so much for all the support, all the love. I just can't explain. You guys keep me going. You guys just make me so happy. Just thank you guys so much. It really means a lot. The last thing I'm going to say, guys, is next week I'll have a new deck tech out. It's a new, I know people's been asking about that. Again, it's with my deck techs, I like to really take time and make some unique decks, something people aren't doing, and I like to play test a lot with them and make sure I have a great understanding of the deck, and so I'm not giving you guys just like a half-built deck. And so I do put a lot of time into my deck techs. This will be the last one for set 1 because I don't want to put out, you know, like 2 or 3 more and then essentially, you know, it not matter when set 2 hits. But when set 2 hits, I'll be doing a lot more deck profiles. I love doing them. I think they're really fun videos. Also, I have a special video coming to you guys on Saturday. It's a little bit of a secret video, so I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about that tomorrow. And again, guys, thank you so much for all the love, all the support. It means the world to me. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. See you guys.